Carlos, I know you guys have said that you're not worried about Juan Soto, but just how happy are you for him to have had those 2 hits tonight?
It's always good to see him and, all of our guys having a good night, I thought not only at the plate, but defensively. I thought he made a nice play cutting that ball down the right field line and keeping that runners from scoring from first base with 2 outs. He's going to get through it. He's too good of a hitter. Obviously, good night for him and for Lindor and for some of the other guys, but it was good to see Soto finally getting some good results there.
Tim?
It had been a tough couple of weeks for Lindor as well. How nice was it to see him take those kinds of swings from both sides tonight?
Yeah, again, another great player here, and as part of the 162, where they're going to go through some ups and downs. Then it's not going to be perfect all the time, but when you see him going, especially from the left side, going left center like that, that's when he's clicking. So it was good to see that from the right side, obviously hitting the ball to the pull side, then that bullet up the middle. Balance. In a position to make some really good swing decisions and obviously hitting the ball with authority. So, good night for him too.
Mike?
How about Peterson and the bullpen tonight again?
Yeah, typical Petey, give us a chance there, using all of his pitches, making pitches when he needed to. Obviously, we make some good plays behind him, but the way he used the whole repertoire, whether it's the sinker, I thought he threw a couple of good sliders, the changeup, attack, he was around the zone. And again, we make some good plays behind him. And then the bullpen, Brazoban coming in there with second and third, 2 outs, getting out of it, getting the ball to Reader, and him and Edwin obviously shutting the game down. So good night overall from our pitching staff.
Tony?
You said typical Petey. What have you made just of his overall body of work dating back to a year ago when he came off the IL?
Yeah, look, this is a guy that competes, Obviously, his preparation is really, really good, he pays attention to details. He gets in there and watches swings and how different hitters are attacking him. And, when he goes out there, he's got a really good plan. Obviously, he's got to go out there and execute. But I feel like the ability to make pitches on big spots, like when there's runners on base, the situation is never too big for him. He's poised, he's calm. And, the ability to slow the game down. And we've seen that for the past year.
Just with Diaz, is this about as locked in as he gets?
Yeah. Obviously, at the beginning of last year and coming off a big injury, right? But we saw it in the playoff. And, him going multiple innings, throwing 35 pitches. Like, this guy is elite, But what we're seeing now, attacking, using both pitches, not afraid to challenge hitters, mixing. He's pretty good too.
Mike?
Reed Garrett really emerged for the team last season. It seems like maybe he's taken to another level. What's made him such an effective weapon for this team?
Yeah, he's pretty nasty too, because I was talking to Sarby after he got the second out, like, when you got 97, 98s, and you could throw sinkers, you can throw cutters, you got the sweeper, you got the split, like, that's not an easy at-bat there. And when he's around the zone, like I said, he makes it tough for the hitters. And he's becoming a big piece out of that bullpen, where there's multiple, his ability to go multiple, a guy that can come in, shutting it down and go back out, or throw, the 8th or the 7th, or get him the safe situation. There's versatility there, and there's a lot to like.
Andy?
Carlos, just sort of similar to the way some hitters seem to focus just a little bit more with 2 strikes. Can a pitcher like Peterson focus a little bit more with traffic when he?
Maybe.
Because it seems like he gets for the amount of shutdown innings he has, he gets a lot of guys on base. Is that its own skill?
Yeah, I guess at this point you could say that. I've been saying it. His ability to slow the game down and just to have a presence, to stay calm in situations like that, regardless of, you got a couple of guys on, bases loaded, and good hitters at the plate, he still believes in himself. He's still like one pitch away because, he can get a ground ball and get a double play, make a guy chase. So it's pretty impressive, to be honest with you, and he keeps doing it.
Coach, the Rockies record has made national news, for reasons that they wouldn't have wanted. But for the past 3 games, they held down Chicago's offense all 3 games in 3 close losses. What was your first impression of this Rockies team?
Yeah, they got good players there. Some scouting there yesterday during the off day, and you're right. I mean, the Cubs swept them, but they could have swept them too. I think it was like 2-1, 3-2, extra inning games. And watching some of the games from the Phillies, they came back late in the game. Watching some of the guys that they got out of the bullpen, everybody pretty much seems like they throw 97 to 100. We saw that guy today. The starters, there's some good Tovar, so they're getting healthy too. So I know right now the record says what, but I think that they're a big league team, and there's a lot of big league players there.